सिंध असेंबली के इजलास की तरफ आपको लिए चलेंगे, जहां पर मुराद अली शाह इस वक्त बजट पेश कर रहे हैं।
और मसालियत है शहीद भुट्टो की पार्टी रंग, नस्ल, जबान और मजहबी अकीदे से बेहतर होकर सिंध के अवाम की खिदमत करना चाहती है। वजह हमारी बेहद तजावीज़ से देही या शहरी इलाके की कोई तफरीक नहीं है। इसकी जीती जाती मिसाल तकरीबन 2 अरब रुपए की मालियत के कराची के मुतालिक वो प्रोजेक्ट्स जिन बजट से सिर्फ जंग दिन पहले फंड्स रिलीज किए जा रहे हैं और बजट पर बहस खत्म होने से पहले आप अपने शहर कराची में इतनी जगहों पर तरक्कियाती काम होते देख सकेंगे। इस तरह पिछले साल और इस साल हैदराबाद में तरक्कियाती कामों के लिए ज्यादा रकम मुख्तस की थी, जिसकी वजह से हैदराबाद का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर काफी बेहतर हुआ है। जनाब वाला, किसी भी बजट की बेहतरी का अंदाजा इसके मुख्तस तरक्कियाती इक़दाम होता है। मुझे इस अमर का ऐलान करते हुए बेहद मुसर्रत हो रही है कि इस साल तरक्कियाती रकूम में तकरीबन 50 अरब रुपए का इजाफा कर दिया गया है, जिससे इस के अवाम मजीद खिदमत की जा सकेगी।
भाई अजान का तो एहतराम करें, कम से कम दूसरा एहतराम नहीं सीखा है तो अजान को एहतराम करना सीख लें।
सिंध असेंबली का इजलास जारी है। मुराद अली शाह बजट पेश कर रहे थे। अभी सिंध असेंबली में नमाज का वक्फा है, आजान दी जा रही है और इससे पहले सूबाई वजीर खजाना मुराद अली शाह सिंध का बजट पेश कर रहे थे और सिंध के बजट का कुल हजम उन्होंने बताया कि 869 अरब 11 करोड़ रुपए मुख्तस कर दिया गया है। सूबाई वजीर खजाना मुराद अली शाह सिंध का बजट पेश कर रहे थे। सिंध असेंबली में इस वक्त नमाज का वक्फा है। बजट तकरीर के दौरान अपोजिशन अरकान ने शोर शराबा भी किया। स्पीकर आगा सिराज दुरानी की ज़ेर सदारत सिंध असेंबली का आज बजट इजलास हो रहा है। बराह रास्त मनाजिर आप देख सकते हैं सिंध असेंबली के। अब से कुछ देर पहले मुराद अली शाह बजट पेश कर रहे थे और अभी नमाज का वक्फा है, आजान हो रही है और इस वजह से तकरीर को रोकना पड़ा। सूबाई वजीर खजाना मुराद अली शाह इससे पहले सिंध असेंबली का बजट पेश कर रहे थे और बता रहे थे तरक्याती कामों के लिए कितने पैसे मुख्तस किए गए हैं। सिंध का 8 खरब 55 अरब का बजट पेश किया जा रहा है और ये भी तवक्को की जा रही है कि तनख्वाहों और पेंशन में 10 से 15% इजाफा हो सकता है। तालीम के लिए 150 अरब मुख्तस किए गए हैं। साथ ही साथ तरक्याती मंसूबों की जो बात कर रहे थे, तरक्याती प्रोग्रामों की, मुराद अली शाह उन्होंने बताया कि 224 अरब रुपए रखने की तजवीज़ ज़ेर गौर है। बजट में 996 नई स्कीमें शामिल की गई हैं। टैक्स वसूलियों के हवाले से अगर आपको बताएं तो टैक्स वसूलियों में 17% इजाफे का हदफ मुकर्रर किया गया था और अभी बजट तकरीर होना बाकी है। मुराद अली शाह ने अभी बजट पेश करना है। अभी सिंध असेंबली में नमाज का वक्फा है, आजान हो रही है, जिसके बायस जिस आजान के एहतराम में तकरीर को रोका गया है और कुछ देर बाद मुराद अली शाह दोबारा बजट के हवाले से बात करेंगे, बजट पेश करेंगे जो कि 8 खरब 55 अरब रुपए है।
इस साल तरक्याती रकूम में तकरीबन 50 अरब रुपए का इजाफा कर दिया गया है। जिससे इस सूबे के अवाम की मजीद खिदमत की जा सकेगी। जनाब वफाकी वज़ीर ख़जाना जनाब इसाक डार की तरह ये तो नहीं कह सकता कि जनाब स्पीकर आज सब कुछ लुटा दिया, इसलिए कि पैसा सिर्फ बादशाहत में लुटाया जाता है, जबकि जमहूरियत में अवाम की खिदमत की जाती है। ये सूबा हमारा है, इसकी खुशहाली और इस्तेकाम के लिए मिलजुल कर काम करना है। खुदा करे कि मेरे अर्ज़ पाक पर उतरे वो फसले गुल से अंदेशा ज़वाल न हो। यहाँ फूल खिले वो खिला रहे सदियों, यहाँ खिज़ा गुजरने की भी मजाल न हो। खुदा करे कि मेरे वतन के लिए हयात जुर्म न हो, जिंदगी वबाल न हो। जनाब स्पीकर, मां बजट पेश करण खां अॻु क़ाइदनि मौजूद अवां खां इहा इजाज़त तो घुरां त रूल 241 जे तहत मूंखे इहा बजट सिंधी ऐं उर्दू ॿोलियुनि में के सिवा अंग्रेजी पेश करण जी पिणु इजाज़त ॾींदा। महिरबानी साईं जी। मां ऐवान खे चाहियां थो त असां बजट टिनी ॿोलियुनि में सिंध तोड़े मुल्क जे अवाम ऐं सॼी दुनिया जे वास्ते सिंध सरकार ऐं नाणे खाते की वेबसाइट ते बि रखी आहे ऐं मौजूद मानवारी मीडिया वास्ते उर्दू ऐं अंग्रेजी में पिणु इहा फराहम करे रहिया आहियूं। Mr. Speaker, sir, I am truly honored. Allah Almighty has once again bestowed me the honor to stand before the elected representatives of Sindh and present the fourth budget of our current term. I am grateful to my Lord for putting us on a consistent path to progress and development. The principles set forth by our founding father, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, always acts as a benchmark for setting out our priorities and planning business of government. Therefore, at the very outset,
असेंबली में आप लोग बैठे हैं, ये असेंबली का इजलास है, बजट इजलास है, बिहेवियर आपका बताता है। जी बोले
सर, अगर इधर तवज्जो दे दें। The government can only have for its aim one objective: how to serve the people, how to devise ways and means for their welfare and their betterment. Keeping in view the vision of Quaid-e-Azam, this objective of the welfare and betterment of and service to the people has always been at the core of the government of Sindh's policies. Quaid-e-Awam Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and Quaid-e-Jamhuriyat Shaheed Mohtarma Benazir Bhutto were ardent followers of teaching of Quaid-e-Azam. Their policy was also centered on the idea of the welfare and well-being of the common person, and they strove relentlessly during their lives and embraced martyrdom to achieve these goals. Now, under the inimitable and dynamic leadership of PPP Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari and Co-Chairman President Asif Ali Zardari, the Pakistan People's Party and its government continue to work single-mindedly for the uplift of the people. The budget of 2016-17 has also been prepared in consonance with the collective vision of our leaders, and I feel honored to present the people-friendly budget for fiscal year 2016-17. Mr. Speaker, sir, Pakistan People's Party has made innumerable sacrifices primarily for successful continuation of democracy and to ensure that the people of Pakistan not only have a say in getting out priorities of governance and development, but they also be the actual drivers of change. For this purpose, this budget has also been set up in the spirit of reconciliation and participatory politics, aimed towards the establishment of a just, equitable and egalitarian society. We believe in the politics of inclusion. We believe in the politics of participation. We believe in the politics of reconciliation. We will try to ensure that every step is taken jointly and every decision is made with participation and consensus of all parties involved. I am thankful to all our honorable MPs, both from the treasury and the opposition benches, for their support. I look forward to the cooperation in the future. So this year, I made an effort and I personally met all the parliamentary parties which are present in the assembly. I'm thankful to Mr. Nisar Ahmed Kholo Sahab, the parliamentary leader of Pakistan People's Party, for facilitating this dialogue with the Treasury MPAs. I'm thankful to Leader of the Opposition, Khwaja Izhar Sahab, and Leader of the Parliamentary Party of MQM, Syed Sardar Ahmed, who took out time and met with me and shared their concerns, and I tried to brief them about the budget. I'm thankful to Honorable Nand Kumar Sahab, the Leader of the Parliament Party of Pakistan Muslim League Functional, Mr. Samar Khan Sahab, Leader of the Parliamentary Party of PTI, and Mr. Ismail Rao Sahab, Leader of the Parliamentary Party of Pakistan Muslim League End, who also took time out and met with me, and I could brief them a little about the budget, and they also raised their concerns. Sir, I would like to acknowledge the leadership of political parties, both in the Assembly and outside it, especially Mr. Altaf Hussain, Leader of MQM, Pir Sahab Pagara, Pir Sabutullah Shah Rashti of PML Functional, Mia Nawaz Sharif, PML Nawaz, Mr. Imran Khan, Chairman PTI, and also Mr. Asfar Wali Khan, Maulana Sirajul Haq, and Maulana Fazlur Rahman, among others. Mr. Speaker, the whole democratic setup, including this House, stands for service to the people of Sindh. Through the democratic process, they have reposed their faith in us, and it is incumbent upon us to live up to their expectations. Our vision is across the board service of the people of Sindh without any discrimination or bias. Through this budget, we have put in maximum efforts to translate this dream into actionable plans. Mr. Speaker, as stated earlier, the focus of this budget is the overall betterment and welfare of the people, for which efficient and optimal utilization of the resource is mandatory. Given the effective public financial management has a direct impact on service delivery, we aim to move towards a peaceful and prosperous Sindh by bringing about sustainable and inclusive socio-economic, infrastructural and human resource development. Sir, I would start details of the budget speech with talking a little about the National Finance Commission Award. Sir, I would like to inform this August House about the status of the NFC Award. So it is the constitutional responsibility of the Federal Government to announce the NFC Award for a period of 5 years under Article 160 of the Constitution. The last NFC was to end on 30th of June 2015. It may be recalled that the previous government of Pakistan People's Party had fulfilled its constitutional obligation in letter and spirit and announced the 7th NFC Award well before the time of its commencement. However, the present PMLN government at the federal level has failed to fulfill the constitutional obligation. The 9th National Finance Commission was constituted on 24th of April 2015, more than a year ago. In the very first meeting and the only meeting, because there's been no meeting of the National Finance Commission throughout the last fiscal year. In its first meeting held on 28th April 2015, the Government of Sindh presented a timetable to finalize the recommendations by 31st of May 2015. This meant a very dedicated 6 weeks devoted to the National Finance Commission. However, the federal government did not agree to this, and they constituted 4 working groups to conduct studies on different topics to assist the formulation of the new award. So here again, the Government of Sindh took the lead in completing its task and convened the very first meeting of the working group of the NFC in Karachi. And this was done within 2 months of the formation, 2 or 3 months of the formation of this group. All the other groups, the provinces, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province and the Punjab province, have completed their reports. Balochistan province was not given any responsibility, but it is really sad for me to mention that the federal government has neither completed its report and nor have convened any subsequent meeting of the NSC that has been past due on its part. The Government of Sindh is fully prepared on its part, has repeatedly been requesting the federal government to move ahead with the task of finalizing 9th NFC, but in vain. The apparent deliberate delay by the federal government is tantamount to the federal government shying away from its constitutional obligation. Therefore, using the floor of this House, I record my strong protest at the unwillingness of the federal government to undertake this important constitutional activity to the detriment of its citizens. I reiterate that the federal government must fulfill the constitutional obligation for announcing the 9th NFC Award for safeguarding constitutional rights of the federating units without any further delay. इस पे एक शेर पढ़ देता हूं सर. एक तर्ज तगफ़ुल है जो उनको मुबारक, एक अर्ज़ तमन्ना है जो हम करते रहेंगे. Sir, allow me to share some good news. Sir, the total budget of the province of Sindh for the fiscal year 2016-17 is proposed at an unprecedented rupees 869.1 billion. The annual development program of Government of Sindh for the coming financial year will be rupees 225 billion. So this is a massive increase of 39% of current year's ADP. This is a great achievement by all standards. So we will be able to mobilize additional resources through better revenue generation as well as through borrowing from the domestic market as per the ceiling given to us by the NEC. These additional revenues will be spent on our development portfolio as will ensure that the current budget of the province shall not increase by more than 13%. This is despite the fact that the salary and pension expenditure has increased in order to provide relief to government employees and also to create new jobs. Moreover, we have also ensured that allocation for such important functions as maintenance and repair of the existing infrastructure, non-salary expenditure of schools, and the budget for medicines and equipment of the hospital shall increase substantially. I will give you details later on in my speech. Mr. Speaker, another key feature of this budget of 2016-17 is a significant increase in the allocations of some small departments which perform important social welfare functions but generally get a smaller share in resource allocation. These departments include social welfare, special education, sports and youth affairs, women development and minority affairs. Sir, I'll briefly give you details and further on in my speech I'll elaborate on these. The budget for social welfare department is being increased by 65.5%, with the additional amount to be spent on improvement of facilities like Darul Amans and Darul Atfals, etc. The overall budget for special education has been increased by 35%. Sir, but the non-salary budget has surged by 433%. And this additional amount will be spent on improving 50 facilities meant for special education across the province. The budget for sports and youth affairs department has been increased by 46% to provide better avenues of development for the youth of the province. The budget for women development department has been increased by 149%, most of which will be spent to provide microfinance facilities to women entrepreneurs and also to provide legal services to needy women. The grant for minorities is increased from rupees 100 million to rupees 300 million, an increase of a massive 200%, which will be spent on different welfare schemes for minorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, our tax administration is performing well. Sir, we will inshallah achieve the current year's target of rupees 124 billion for tax revenues. So the Sindh Revenue Board has once again done exceptionally well in achieving the target, the challenging target of rupees 61 billion. This has been possible due to the commendable efforts of its staff, but most of the credit will go to the outstanding leadership provided by its late chairman, Mr. Tashfeen Khalid Niaz. Sir, he was an excellent officer and a thorough gentleman who had an exceptionally strong passion and commitment for his job. To have suddenly lost him has been a blow to all of us. May Allah give him highest place in Jannah. Sindh has surely lost a true son of the soil. So the Excise and Taxation Department also succeeded in achieving the targets assigned to it. Considering this excellent performance, we have set more challenging targets for these two entities in the next financial year. Our overall tax collection is estimated at rupees 154 billion for financial 2016-17, which is 4% higher than the current year's target. So I would like to mention here that there are no new taxes. We have rationalized some taxes and give you details of that to bring them at par with taxes in other provinces. But even then, our tax rate is lower than the provinces. I'll just give you the good news now that we are reducing the sales tax on service rate from 14%, which is in the current financial year, to 13%. The federal rate on sales tax on goods is 17%. So we have gradually decreased this from 17% to 13% in the next financial year. And the taxes that we've imposed, and I'll give you details of this later, have been on people of the affluent class who can afford these taxes. For example, there's a tax on charter flight services. I'm sure the poor people would be able to charter flights. It's the very rich do that. We impose tax on things like that. So the SRB is being assigned a task to collect rupees 78 billion, which will be 28% higher than the current year's collection. It's an ambitious but achievable goal, and I am sure that the SRB would once again come up to the expectations of the people of Sindh. The Excise and Taxation Department has also gets a challenging target of rupees 52 billion. They were able to achieve the targets for this year, and we increased the targets, and I'm sure the Excise Department will be able to meet these targets. This is 24% higher than the current year's target of rupees 42 billion. So the board has been assigned a target of rupees 16.6 billion with the confidence that it will be achieving it by introducing reforms and automation in the collection mechanism. So I would just like to say a few words about agriculture income tax. The members, when I met the parliamentary parties, they raised this issue. We've got an agriculture income tax in the province, which has been promulgated since 2000 under the Sindh Land Tax and Agriculture Income Tax Ordinance 2000. I would admit that the collection under this tax has not been very encouraging. I've sat down with the Board of Revenue and inshallah in consultation with the Minister of Revenue and the Minister of Agriculture. The Chief Minister has already directed us to revamp the agriculture income tax to rationalize rates. So for example, the minimum slab for agriculture income is rupees 80,000, which is very low. We are contemplating increasing it so that the small farmers get relief. We are also contemplating rationalizing the agriculture income tax rates so that the people can afford it and we start implementing it, then they start paying it. So I'd just like to mention one thing here, that there is a lot of revenue. A lot of people show agriculture income tax and exempt tax and mention it in the Federal Board of Revenue FBR taxes. I've got a copy of these, and you'll be amazed to know that there are people who are misusing our agriculture income tax law. And we're going to target these people. I'm sure that inshallah ta'ala, we try within the next 6 to 8 weeks after the passing of the budget in the month of July and August, we'll sit down with all the stakeholders and invite political parties for it also, and we will come up with a new agriculture income tax law which should be more rational, which will facilitate paying of agriculture tax, and inshallah ta'ala we will increase the agriculture income tax manifolds. Sir, our efforts in tax collection have been a source of satisfaction for us. We have seen a growth of 18% during the last 3 years, higher than the growth in tax collection achieved by any other government in Pakistan, may it be the federal government or the government of the other 3 provinces. The additional revenues that we have generated are now available to finance a healthy ADP of rupees 225 billion that we have budgeted for next fiscal year. It is the result of a better fiscal management during the last 3 years that we can aim for such a high growth in our development portfolio. Sir, we have managed to keep a check on unproductive government expenditure. Austerity measures were introduced in our financial management. A whole set of PFM reforms aiming at more transparency and accountability were introduced. There has been a ban on procurement of new vehicles except for operational vehicles for police and hospitals, etc. Procurement of other luxury items like air conditioners, etc. have also been kept under control. These measures have saved us the resources to spend on the development portfolio. These savings have also helped us in diverting more resources to such productive use as maintenance of roads and buildings. This year, rupees 4 billion were provided for repair of roads, through which some major roads have been rehabilitated in all districts. Similarly, rupees 401 million was spent for repair and maintenance of major teaching hospitals and rupees 9.58 billion on other government buildings. Thus, we are not only focusing on creating new infrastructure, this policy, but also keeping sizable allocation for maintenance of existing infrastructure. So I would like to mention here that our non-development expenditure, I'll give you details later, includes this non-development includes brick and mortar work and repair of all roads, repair of buildings, repair the upgradation in the irrigation system. This all comes under non-development. That's why the non-development, though it seems larger, but there's a lot of productive work also going on under the non-development expenditure. We are not relying solely on the engineers of the Services Department, but have also involved elected representatives to the district administration for need assessment and monitoring of the expenditure. Similar improvements will also be seen in irrigation infrastructure throughout the province, which shambles after the super floods of 2010. Mr. Speaker, we have been following a policy of spending a major portion of our budget on 4 priority sectors, that is education, health, law and order, and local bodies. We will continue with the same policy in coming financial year, as we believe expenditure on these sectors is key to improve the quality of the life of citizens. In addition to keeping better financial allocations for these sectors, we are simultaneously working on improving their management in order to bring efficiency into their working and get better value for the resources that we are spending on these sectors. These reforms include creation of a separate management cadre and a monitoring arm in the education department, bringing private sector management into government education and health facilities under the legal framework of public-private partnership. Induction of ex-army men into police force, procuring best fighting equipment for the police force, etc. With such reforms gradually taking hold, the performance of these departments is expected to improve substantially during the coming year. I'll just give you the revised estimate for the year 2015-16. So the revised estimate of total receipts for current financial year 2015-16 are rupees 696.7 billion as against the budget estimate of rupees 726.6 billion, showing a decrease of 4.1%. Received from the federal government on account of revenue assignment, straight transfers and grants stood at 494.3 billion, which are almost same as budget estimate of rupees 494.1 billion. Sir, I would like to explain the receipt from the federal government here. The promised amount, even in the revised budget, is rupees 494.3 billion. Sir, 494.3 अरब रुपए फेडरल गवर्नमेंट ने कहा है कि हमें देंगे, लेकिन इस वक्त तक जब मैं यहाँ तकरीर कर रहा हूँ, हमें 382 अरब 382 बिलियन। इसका मतलब यह है कि अभी 112 अरब रुपए हमें, जो उन्होंने बजट तकरीर जो आज से कुछ दिनों पहले की गई, एक हफ्ते पहले की गई थी, उसमें कहा था कि सिंध सूबे को हम 494 अरब रुपए देंगे 30 जून तक, उसमें अभी 112 अरब बाकी हैं। आई एम होपिंग दैट वी विल गेट दिस 112 बिलियन रुपीस, अदरवाइज we have a shortfall. So the federal transfers constituted 71.1% of the total receipts of the province. Receipts of the federal PSDP are revised to rupees 9.9 billion, whereas foreign project assistance is revised at rupees 15.6 billion. इसमें भी जो PSDP में रिलीजेस हैं, कुछ दिनों पहले मैंने चेक किया, बजट की किताब में 9.9 अरब लिखा गया है, अभी तक हमें तकरीबन 7 अरब से कुछ कम मिले हैं, 6.5 अरब थे कुछ दिनों पहले जब चेक किया। तो यहाँ पे भी फेडरल गवर्नमेंट ने अभी हमें पैसे देने हैं। मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि 30 जून से पहले हमें दे देंगे, तो जो बजट में उन्होंने लिखा है वो दुरुस्त नहीं होगा। Sir, receipts from provincial's own sources on account of tax and non-tax receipts are revised at rupees 183.6 billion, which constitute 18.4% of total receipts. This is a decrease of almost 8% over budget estimate of rupees 144.1 billion in current financial year. So while our tax receipts have been revised up to rupees 64.2 billion from the budget estimate of 63.6 billion, the downward revision is mainly on account of non-tax receipts, which have been revised down to rupees 8.2 billion from the budget estimate of rupees 9.5 billion. So this is an area of concern. Our non-tax receipts are lower than our estimates. This year we have rationalized it to about 12.5 billion. I'll give you details later, but this is one area where we'll have to work hard to make sure that our non-tax receipts are also collected properly. So another good news. So it's noteworthy to inform this August House that there's no outside supplementary budget on current side during the current financial year. All the expenditure has been made from within the grants and from savings other grants through technical supplementary. It has also transpired for the first time that the revised expenditure has been less than the budgeted expenditure. So this is the first time in the past that I recall that our current revenue expenditure is lower than the budget expenditure that we had proposed. Otherwise, previous years we used to get outside budget grants approved by the Assembly. This year there will be no outside budget grants approved. There will be some technical supplementaries, and I'll explain those when we present them in the House. The total expenditure for current financial year 2015-16 is revised at rupees 704 billion as against budget estimate of 739.9 billion, showing a decrease of 4.8%. The current expenditure of the province is revised at rupees 522.8 billion, which includes current revenue expenditure of rupees 502.8 billion and current capital expenditure of rupees 20.1 billion. This is a downward revision against the budget estimate of 525.6 billion for current financial year 2015-16. As I said earlier, I invite the attention of the respectable members of this House to the fact that this is for the first time that the current expenditure has been revised down. This is the result of measures that we have undertaken in the area of public financial management and shows a good control over expenditure. The development expenditure of the province is revised to rupees 182.5 billion, which includes provincial ADP of rupees 142 billion, foreign project assistance of rupees 17.1 billion, federal PSDP of rupees 16.5 billion, and viability gap fund of rupees 7 billion. It shows a decrease of 14.5% as compared to budget estimates of rupees 213.6 billion. So now I come to the budget estimates for next financial year. The total receipts of the province for financial year 2016-17 are estimated at rupees 854.5 billion, as against the budget estimate of 726.6 billion for the current financial year. This is an overall increase of 17.6%. Receipts from federal government on account of revenue assignments, trade transfers and grants are estimated at rupees 561.1 billion, which constitutes 65.7% of total receipts of the province. It is an increase of 13% over estimates of rupees 494.1 billion this current year. However, the budget estimate for trade transfers for next financial year has decreased by 11% to rupees 54.7 billion from the budget estimate of 62.5 billion of current financial year. We will talk to the federal government and the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Resources to find out why there's been an increase in trade transfers, because the majority of this is royalty on oil and gas and the gas development surcharge. There have been certain changes made in the gas development surcharge, in my opinion, constitutionally, because these have been made in the ECC of the federal cabinet, and all oil and gas matters have come to the CCI. The federal government has not got the approval of the CCI, and we have raised this issue with the federal government, sir. So receipts of the federal PSDP are estimated at rupees 12.2 billion. Sir, I would like to say a few words about federal PSDP here. The total PSDP for this year, the federal PSDP, is rupees 800 billion. So in the last Pakistan People's Party government budget at the in the National Assembly, this was the year 2012-13. The total size of the PSDP at that time was rupees 350 billion. There were 47 schemes which were to be executed by the provincial government of Sindh, which were included in the federal PSDP. The total allocation for these schemes was 18.2 billion rupees. So out of 350 billion, 18.2 billion was allocated, about 5.1% of the total PSDP. So this year, the next year the federal government is projecting the PSDP to increase to 800 billion rupees. From 350 in 2012-13, 800 billion, and our allocation has been reduced to 12.2 billion. If the same ratio was given to us,
खजाना मुराद अली शाह इस वक्त बजट पेश कर, उनका ये कहना है कि तरक्याती बजट में 50 अरब रुपए इजाफा किया गया है। फिर से आपको सिंध असेंबली में लिए चलेंगे जहां पर बजट इजलास हो रहा है और मुराद अली शाह बजट पेश कर रहे हैं।
The foreign project assistance, the federal PSDP share, all this combined comes to 266 billion allocation for development. This is 30.6% of the total expenditure of the province. And as I said, this includes provincial ADP of 225 billion, foreign project assistance of 28.8 billion, and federal PSDP of rupees 12.2 billion. Sir, I must draw your kind attention here to the fact that creating job opportunities and providing employment to the deserving has always been the hallmark of the government of the Pakistan People's Party, and we are proud of this. This year also, we will be providing 50,000 jobs to people, of which the major chunk, 20,000, will be in the police. ये अच्छी नहीं लगी बात, ये बात अच्छी नहीं लगी शायद. 20,000 will be in the police department. Approximately 10,000 jobs will be given in the education department. 3,500 jobs in health, and the rest will be in various. Sir, I'll talk about education now. The first words revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was Ikra, that is read. Education is the starting point of every human activity. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a father gives his child nothing better than a good education. Sir, keeping in view the teachings of the Holy Quran and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have kept education as the key to development. This is only when it comes to allocation of this is why when it comes to allocation of resources, education takes precedence over all other sectors. Hence, the largest chunk of our current budget, that is 28%, is allocated for education sector for financial year 2016-17. The next year's allocation of rupees 160.7 billion for education includes allocation for higher education, technical education and medical education, besides allocation for primary and secondary education. This is an increase of 11.2% over allocation of rupees 144.5 billion for current financial year. So the salary component of education department has increased by 7.4% only, whereas the non-salary component has increased by 23.8%. The key allocation in the non-salary budget of education are school-specific budget of rupees 4.68 billion, the repair and maintenance of schools and colleges of rupees 5.4 billion. So these are non-development expenditures, but you can see that they all go into development. Education management organizations, under the public-private partnership, we are partnering with organizations, private organizations, and rupees 1 billion has been allocated for that. Rupees 1.5 billion for school management committees, school consolidation grant of rupees 1.8 billion, free textbooks for rupees 2 billion, stipend for girl students of rupees 1.5 billion, solar energizing of schools for 27.3 million, and introducing innovative initiatives in education department, rupees 500 million. In the current financial year, the ADP allocation for education sector was rupees 13.2 billion. For the next financial year, it has been increased to rupees 17.2 billion, including rupees 3 billion kept separately for boards and universities, 1 billion for STEPTA, and rupees 200 million for special education. So besides provincial ADP, rupees 2.8 billion have been allocated for foreign funded projects of Education Department, which includes Sindh Basic Education Program. This is a USAID contribution. Upgrading of primary schools into elementary schools in rural Sindh, rupees 137.5 million. This is JICA financing. So there's a list of major schemes. Due to paucity of time and because I do not want to take up this time, I'll just skip these. These major schemes are listed. So I'll just go to the strategy that we are evolving for the Education Department. Mr. Speaker, the strategy that we have adopted is three-pronged. Our first priority is the improvement of the public sector schools through improvements in our management and monitoring systems. Secondly, we are outsourcing public sector schools to reputable private organizations, EMOs, under PPP mode through a fair and competitive process. Finally, as public sector schools are not sufficient in number to cover the whole population, we are also supporting the private sector schools through Sindh Education Foundation, especially in remote areas. So following some of the major steps being undertaken to reform education sector, Early Childhood Care and Education Policy 2015 is being implemented, which has created new teaching cadre for early childhood learning. Biometric mapping of over 185,000 employees, both teaching and non-teaching, has been completed, which is 95% of the total strength of the department. The biometric verification will be integrated with human resource information system and will be used to align salary payments, attendance in schools, and resource rationalization. Education Department has introduced a complaint mechanism called ILMI for stakeholders. The complainant can register complaint by sending SMS on 8398. Endowment fund of rupees 825 million has been provided in the last 7 years to 8,038 students of more than 35 higher education institutions and universities. Management cadre has been separated from teaching cadre with new recruitment rules and competitive, performance-based and mandatory training-linked appointments and promotions for both. 2,000 head teachers provided to 2,000 schools up to elementary level. We plan to appoint 6,700 more new HMs, headmasters, in the next 2 years under education management cadre. These specialized sub-cadres established school executive services, school management service, and school finance service. 3 rounds of merit-based teacher recruitments have been completed to recruit more than 30,000 teachers by conducting tests from recognized institutions like Sindh University, Sakhar IBA, and NTS. New teaching cadre have also been introduced to focus on early childhood teaching. Among the new teachers, 552 high school teachers, 4,969 junior school teachers, and 10,000 primary school teachers have been given pre-service training. Student achievement tests were conducted for 300,000 students. Monitoring and Evaluation Directorate has been established with 225 monitors hired for 15 pilot districts. Effective e-monitoring of schools has begun capturing real-time data on daily basis. This has been supported by Global Partnership for Education. Here I'll move on to health now. Waman ayaha fakar annama aya annas jami'an. So ये सूरह मायदा की आयत 32 है और इसका तर्जुमा अंग्रेजी में है. And whoso gave life to one soul, then it is if he had given life to all mankind. Sir, health has remained a priority of our government as we continue to expand our resource allocation for this sector. The current revenue expenditure of health, including medical education, has been significantly increased by 13.8% from rupees 57.9 billion in current financial year to rupees 65.9 billion in next financial year. Next year's health ADP is pitched at rupees 14 billion against ADP of rupees 13 billion for current financial year. Beside provincial ADP and federal PSDP, rupees 1.8 billion have been allocated with foreign funded projects of health department, which are nutrition support program of Sindh, rupees 1.5 billion, an IDA credit by the World Bank, establishment of child care Institute at Sakhar, rupees 400 million given by the Korean government. So the government is making consistent efforts to develop a holistic approach to bridge gaps in health services delivery at all levels, that is primary, secondary and tertiary levels, with a balanced strategy focused on both preventive and curative medicine. In order to allow tertiary care hospitals to focus on specialized healthcare services, it is mandatory to strengthen secondary and primary health care service delivery system. To achieve this objective, government has enhanced resource allocation for operational expenses, including medicine, diagnostic and hospital supplies to DHQ, THQ, RSC, BHU and dispensaries. Allocation of these health facilities has been made on basis of costing tools developed by Health Department with assistance of USAID, using district health information system and catchment population of the health facilities. The allocation for medicine has been increased on need basis, and that of diagnostic, surgical instrument, oxygen, gas, consumables, X-ray films and dietary charge of patients has been increased by 35%. The allocation for special repair of teaching hospital has been doubled. Similarly, significant increase of 20% has been made for repair and maintenance of machinery, equipment and ambulances. With similar objectives, allocation for PPHI Sindh has been enhanced by rupees 605 million, up from rupees 3.2 billion to rupees 3.8 billion in the next financial year. Sir, there is a paradigm shift that will enhance allocative efficiency and significantly reduce urban-rural disparity. The government assigns equal importance to tertiary health care in this regard. Regular annual recurring grant in aid for SIUT has been increased from rupees 3 billion to rupees 4 billion. I am grateful to Dr. Adibul Hasan Rizvi. I saw him earlier. I don't know if he's still there or not. We have increased the grant of SIUT from 3 billion to 4 billion in the next financial year. So in the current financial year, in addition to the regular grant of 3 billion, an additional amount of rupees 3.32 billion was provided to SIUT, which included an amount of rupees 2.3 billion for transplantation complex Sakhar, rupees 250 million for installation of robotic surgery, and rupees 100 million for procurement of 100 dialysis machines, and 660 million for establishment of liver transplant unit at SIUT Karachi. So all these come in the non-development expenditure. I just want the members to appreciate that all these development activities are funded through a single line under the non-development grants, and this is one of the grants that come in. Sir, NICVD will receive a grant of 1.8 billion rupees next year, which is 7 million more than this current year. So work on establishment of a pediatric cardiac surgery unit in NICVD Karachi will also start. So grant for Indus Hospital, which we had started giving since a couple of years ago. The grant for Indus Hospital has been increased from rupees 300 million to rupees 500 million. Dr. Bari is here sitting in the galleries, and I hope that they will continue the good work that they're doing. Dr. Sikandar Mendro just told me that they're doing an excellent job in Badin, the hospital that they have taken over. And I would request them to take over more rural hospitals so that the service delivery and health can improve. So the following measures have been taken for preventive health care. Lady health workers and the associated program management unit is regularized. Activities are underway to strengthen the operational monitoring and evaluation capacity. The community midwives are being continuously trained and deployed in target areas. Deployment increased from 1,924 to 2,300 in the current financial year. Coverage under polio campaign was improved to 97%, and reported polio cases were reduced from 30 in 2014 to 12 in the year 2015. Motorcycles in additional POL have been given to strengthen and mobilize the EPI vaccinators, and new polio vaccines have been introduced. Sir, I would like to mention here that Bill Gates, founder chairman of Microsoft, had personally called and commended the government of Sindh in its polio activities. his call is on record. Some major schemes which will be undertaken in the health sector during the next financial year are upgradation of neurosurgery at Liaquat University Hospital, Hyderabad, establishment of Children Hospital at Sakhar under Korean soft loan, as I mentioned earlier, renovation and upgradation of main gynae operation theatres and other operation theatres at Liaquat University Hospital, Hyderabad and Jamshoro, construction of Talibul Maula Medical College and Teaching Hospital, Hala, upgradation of various basic health units, rural health centres, THQs and DHQs, construction of emergency centre at Pankachang, District Khairpur, construction of paramedical institute at Mithi, District Tharparkar, strengthening of malaria control program in Sindh, Sindh immunization support program, Sindh malaria eradication strategy, strengthening of monitoring system, prevention and control of hepatitis in Sindh. Sir, I come to law and order now. The Qaid-e-Azam, ever cognizant of the importance of maintenance of law and order, said, "You will no doubt agree with me that the first duty of a government is to maintain law and order, so that the life, property and religious belief of all its subjects are fully protected by the state." Accordingly, sir, Sindh government has kept this as one of its topmost priorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, Home Department, including police, jails, rangers and other security agencies, is the second largest department in terms of resource allocation, with a share of 14.4% in total current revenue expenditure in financial year 2016-17. This is clear proof of our commitment to give citizens of this province a peaceful and tranquil environment where they can pursue their goals for better living. Home Department has been allocated rupees 82.3 billion in next financial year against current financial allocation of rupees 70.8 billion. This is an increase of 16.2%. The budget for Sindh Police has been enhanced from 63.3 billion to rupees 74 billion, showing an increase of 16.9%. This includes SNE allocation of rupees 8.9 billion for the police. The ADP for Home Department is pitched at rupees 2 billion. The three key pillars of a strategy to improve the performance police are.
खजाना मुराद अली शाह बजट पेश कर रहे हैं।
मैं ये बता दूं, घर में हम क्या कर रहे हैं। सर, सिंध एंग्रो कोल माइनिंग कंपनी के 7% शेयर हमारे पास है। 4% of the equity is provided by the provincial government, तकरीबन 11 अरब रुपए। इसके अलावा सर, हमने जो इसकी सॉवरन गारंटी गवर्नमेंट ने की है, सिंध हुकूमत ने काउंटर गारंटी है। मैं इसमें थोड़ा सा आपको बता दूं कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर राजा परवेज अशरफ साहब हमें सॉवरन गारंटी 2013 में दे गए थे, लेकिन उस सॉवरन गारंटी को साइन करने में तकरीबन 3 साल लगाए गए, और वो भी तब दी जब हुकूमत सिंध ने काउंटर गारंटी नहीं की। तो खैर, देर आए दुरुस्त आए। गवर्नमेंट का शुक्रिया कि उन्होंने 3 साल बाद हमारी काउंटर गारंटी के बाद वो सॉवरन गारंटी साइन की, और अब हम इस प्रोजेक्ट का फाइनेंशियल क्लोज कर चुके हैं। सर, ये 3.8 मिलियन टन पर एनम की मांग है। इस पे 760 मेगावाट का पावर प्लांट एंग्रो कॉर्पोरेशन बनाएगी। ये पहला स्टेप है। इसके बाद ये बढ़ जाएगी, 6.5 मिलियन टन पर एनम की माइन हो जाएगी और 1300 मेगावाट एनर्जी मिलेगी। और सर, ये मेरा ख्याल है पाकिस्तान की तीर चेंज करेगा ये प्रोजेक्ट। सर, we have completed this project against all odds, और इसके लिए मैं एक शेर सुना देता हूं अपने के दोस्तों, बल्कि इस मुल्क के लोगों के लिए। तुझसे एहदे वफा उस्तवार रखते हैं, इलाज करते रखते हैं। हमने एक मेहनत की है और हमारी मेहनत कामयाब हुई है। सर, एक और एनर्जी प्रोजेक्ट का बता दूं जिसका फायदा कराची शहर को हो रहा है। 100 मेगावाट का नूरियाबाद पावर प्रोजेक्ट ये अगर कान लगा के सुन लें आपके लोग, आपको सुन नहीं दे रहे ख्वाजा साहब। 100 मेगावाट का सिंध नूरियाबाद पावर प्रोजेक्ट हमने कंप्लीट कर लिया है। जुलाई में इसकी टेस्ट रनिंग होगी। इसके लिए इस पे 13 अरब रुपए, ये ईडीपी में नहीं है, ये पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप में हुआ है। 13 अरब रुपए इस प्रोजेक्ट पे खर्च हुए हैं। इसके अलावा तकरीबन 2 अरब रुपए की ट्रांसमिशन लाइन हमने बिछाई है और ये पूरा पावर 100 मेगावाट कराची के लिए काम आएगा। ये सीधा नूरियाबाद से उठा के पावर कराची लाया जा रहा है। ये अगर गौर से सुन लें, मोहम्मद हुसैन को सुनना नहीं है। Sir, to promote renewable energy projects, Government of Sindh has framed a dedicated land grant policy 2015 for the purpose of developing RE projects in the province. 53,000 acres has already been leased out to renewable energy projects.
Empress market nahi hai.
Whereas 40,000 acres land has been reserved for renewable energy parks in the province. Renewable energy enclave has also been envisaged for location of government land with infrastructure for development of RE clusters at strategic locations. So the government of Sindh has so far completed 6 power projects with a cumulative capacity of 309.2 megawatts. 9 wind power projects are under construction with a total capacity of 475.9 megawatts. Sir, in addition, 46 more projects with a total capacity of 3,550 megawatts are at various stages of project development. So, total investment of wind power project is approximately 5,370 million. Total investment of wind power projects is approximately 5,370 million. The National Transmission and Dispatch Company has confirmed the power evacuation of 1756 megawatts from this wind corridor. The wind tower manufacturing facility by the Chinese Three Gorges Company is already operational in site area. So the government of Sindh has also planned 24 solar power projects which will add 1450 megawatts in the national grid. Total investment of solar power project is $2.9 billion. Sir, a total of approximately 750 villages have been electrified at a cost of rupees 1.2 billion by the Directorate of Village Electrifications during the current financial year. An amount of 1.2 billion is allocated for the next financial year. Government of Sindh is executing supply of gas to villages through Sui Southern Gas Company Limited. A loan of rupees 6.5 billion has been dispersed to SSGCL for carrying out gas supply to villages. SSGCL has completed gas to 746 villages, while work for supply of gas to 209 villages is in progress. The government of Sindh has also established Sindh Transmission and Dispatch Company. Currently, the STDC is constructing a power dispatch line of 90 kilometers from Sindh Nuriabad Gas Company Limited up to KDA Scheme 33. जैसा मैंने आपको बताया, this will provide 100 megawatts power to the city of Karachi, which will go a long way in addressing the load shedding problems of Karachi. So I'll talk a little about the road infrastructure. Development of road infrastructure remains one of the topmost priorities of Government of Sindh to improve socio-economic conditions of the people and facilitate poverty alleviation. The government is also to improve existing infrastructure. The budgetary allocation for maintenance and repair of roads was rupees 3.7 billion, which was enhanced to rupees 4.5 billion in current financial year. This has brought significant improvement of roads and it included improvement of over 2,300 kilometers beside construction of over 2,600 kilometers of new roads. Looking at this trend, the allocation for the next financial year for maintenance of roads in the non-development side is rupees 5 billion. This is over and above the ADB allocation. The proposed allocation in ADP under the road sector for the coming financial year is rupees 22.4 billion as against rupees 15.4 billion in 2015-16. This is a significant increase of 45%. Various projects are being executed with the assistance of foreign donor agencies A total of 528.5 kilometers of rural access roads have been constructed with the assistance of Japanese government at a total cost of rupees 8.7 billion. These roads are spread in entire province consisting of district Thatta, Jamshoro, Hyderabad, Larkana, Kambar, Shahdadkot, Shikarpur, Khairpur, Jacobabad, Kashmir, Kankod and Sakkar. With the assistance of Chinese government, Works and Services Department has initiated the rehabilitation, reconstruction of Nawab Shah Sangar Road having total length of 61 kilometers. This will be completed in 2 years at a cost of 2.09 billion. Works and Services Department has also secured a loan of rupees 197.8 from Asian Development Bank. 6 roads are being constructed, the details of which are given in the speech. So with a view to infusing private sector efficiencies, sir, I would like to mention another project here. Sir, the Thatta Sijawal Bridge, which was constructed in the 1950s, developed cracks. The government of Sindh worked on constructing a new bridge, and by the grace of Almighty Allah, we will be completing the Thatta Sijawal Bridge in a span of 15 months, and this scheme will start in August, inshallah. The scheme will be inaugurated by the Honorable Chief Minister. With the view of infusing private sector efficiencies, the Works and Services Department has taken a number of initiatives under the government's policy of public-private partnership. So the Hyderabad Mir Khas dual carriageway is a prime example of our achieving successfully the public-private partnership mode. After this, we are going to complete, inshallah, in the month of July, the Jirk Mulakatiyar Bridge. Sir, I want to mention here that the Jirk Mulakatiyar Bridge is the longest bridge constructed over any river in Pakistan. And the government of Sindh has constructed this bridge under public-private partnership, and no federal funding was given for this. So we have the Chief Minister on the 5th of June has just broken ground for the 49-kilometer Karachi-Thatta dual carriageway. This is being constructed under public-private partnership by Frontier Works Organization, and inshallah ta'ala, this scheme will be completed in a span of 1 year. In addition, the Hyderabad-Tando Muhammad Khan Road is also being envisaged in the public-private partnership at a cost of 5 billion. The spade work has been done for this. Bridge between Kankot and Kashmir and Ghotki. Between Kankot and Ghotki is also planned under public-private partnership, and we are in the final stages of completing the spade work for this project. Sir, I'll tell you something about the irrigation department. So, irrigation sector is of vital importance, as 70% of Sindh's population is dependent upon water for cultivation in its related activities. The importance of water has increased more in backdrop of climate change. Efforts are therefore underway to improve irrigation supplies and conserve maximum quantity of water. Budget estimates for current revenue expenditure of irrigation department are estimated at 18.7 billion as against current financial year allocation of rupees 17.7 billion. The ADP for next financial year has increased from the current 12 billion to rupees 14 billion, showing an upward trend of 16.7 billion. Sir, I would like to mention here that in the irrigation department, 91% has been allocated for ongoing schemes and only 9% for new schemes. The development plans are focused on rehabilitation of barrages, rehabilitation, protection and capacity enhancement of irrigation and drainage network, and conservation of water through lining of channels and building small dams. So there are further details. I'm just skipping these to save time. So I'll talk a little about the agriculture department. Agriculture follows irrigation. Agriculture is the mainstay of our economy, with over 60% of our population deriving their sustenance from it. It contributes 24% to the GDP. Government of Sindh fully appreciates the importance of agriculture and is cognizant of its duties towards this sector. Current revenue expenditure of agriculture department has increased by 24% to rupees 6.7 billion in next financial year as against rupees 5.4 billion in current financial year. The ADP for the next financial year is pitched at rupees 5.8. अरे भाई मैंने कहा था छोड़ रहा हूँ, अगर आप सुन ले तो. Rupees 5.2 billion have been allocated for foreign projects, which includes 2 billion for Sindh Agriculture Growth Project and rupees 3 billion for Sindh Irrigated Agriculture Productivity Enhancement Project. So the total development outlay for irrigation in the next financial year is rupees 11 billion. So I'll talk about transport. So the government of Sindh is committed to provide reliable and good quality transport, both private and public, at affordable cost in urban and rural areas of the province. In order to effectively handle public-private partnership, rupees 9.9 million has been allocated for establishment of PPP node in transport and media and mass transit department. Besides, the ADP for next financial year is pitched at rupees 3.2 billion, which is an increase of 6.7% over ADP of rupees 3 billion in current financial year. Government of Sindh intends to introduce Sindh Mass Transit Authority Bill for creation of Sindh Mass Transit Authority to enhance the capacity of the department to conduct mass transit projects and to ensure transparency. With this vision, various critical mass transit projects are under process at various stages, including development of various BRTs. All BRTs listed below will be finally integrated with the help of Asian Development Bank. So BRT Yellow Line is a 26-kilometer length. It is being done in public-private partnership. A Chinese company, CUEC-led consortium, has been given this public-private partnership contract, and inshallah ta'ala the concession agreement will be signed soon. Sir, I'm glad to inform you that the BRT Orange Line project the groundbreaking was performed by the Honorable Chief Minister yesterday. This project of 2.35 billion, 100% allocation has been kept for in the next financial year, and inshallah ta'ala we hope to complete this 4.7 kilometer orange BRT in the next financial year. So we are also doing the BRT Red Line with funds from the Asian Development Bank, and this is in the process of development. In addition, the BRT Blue Line is being done in public-private partnership, and we've received an offer for that. Sir, in order to provide dedicated bus service for intercity operations, a scheme of induction of 200 buses for intercity have been included in ADP 2016-17 with rupees 500 million allocation. So I'll go to social welfare. I spoke about social welfare earlier also. So these are the smaller departments which used to get very small allocation, and in the next financial year we have increased the allocations many times. So welfare of the marginalized section of the society being the top government priority reflects the budget of current revenue expenditure, in which social welfare department allocation has been increased by 65.5%. Rupees 1.39 billion in the next financial year compared to rupees 0.84 billion in the current financial year. The ADP for the next financial year is projected at rupees 290 million, increase of 45% over ADP of 200 million. Sir, we are planning to give an entirely new look to the facilities in social welfare department by enhancing facilities of Darul Aman and Darul Atfal. Sir, we have kept hefty allocations for this. Sir, apart from the social welfare department, as I said earlier, we have increased manifold the allocation for the women development department. We have increased manifold the allocation for special education department and of the minorities department. Minorities department, as I said, the grant for minorities has been increased 200 times for rupees 100 million to rupees 300 million. So Quaid-e-Azam said minorities can rest assured that their rights will be protected. No civilized government can be run successfully without giving minorities a complete sense of security and confidence. So this is our government's motto, and we have achieved it. So even in sports and youth affairs, we have increased the budget allocation to rupees 832.9 million as against 570.4 million. The ADP for next year has also been increased 100% from rupees 1 billion to rupees 2 billion. We want to give a lot of rest to sports so that the youth of this province get facilities for sports. Allocation under head sports activities has been increased by 900% from rupees 20 to rupees 200 million. The allocation for Sindh Sports Board has been increased by 100% from rupees 20 to rupees 40 million. Sports associations also play a vital role in promotion of sport activities, and the allocation in this budget has been increased by 150% from rupees 20 million to rupees 50 million. Sir, I will now go to the development portfolio. The Provincial Annual Development Program is targeted towards poverty alleviation, improving infrastructure, strengthening social sector, generating employment, and improving public service delivery with a view to achieving high economic growth and reducing inequality. In this regard, one of the important initiatives of the government is the provision of basic infrastructure, which acts as a catalyst for regional development and attracting domestic and foreign investment. During the current fiscal year 2015-16, it is expected that 620 development schemes will be completed from July 2015 to June 2016. The current increase in ADP is unprecedented. The ADP 2016-17 has now been pitched at rupees 225 billion, including rupees 25 billion for districts, which is almost 39% higher over and above the ADP of 2015-16. The total number of schemes has reached 2,773, including 996 new schemes in ADP 2016-17 as compared to 2,352, including 590 new schemes in 2015-16. Sir, I will give details of some projects district-wise. One of the schemes that I want to mention here is that we are allocating 2 billion for improvement of infrastructure such as water supply and drainage and road networks of major towns and cities. Sir, Thar coal infrastructure development has been allocated 16.9 billion rupees. Sir, I'll go division-wise so that the honorable members can know what allocations have been kept. I'll start with Karachi division and also talk about some of the schemes here. Sir, the ADP allocation for Karachi division is rupees 50.3 billion, including district ADP. Karachi will be one of the focus areas of development for the next financial year. The major development schemes of Karachi are rupees 10 billion have been allocated for major infrastructure projects of Karachi, which will be instrumental for. These schemes are construction of Shaheed Benazir Bhutto flyover at Shaheen complex at the cost of rupees 800 million, upgradation of fire service for high-rise buildings at the cost of rupees 499 million, upgradation of Pipri filter plant pumping station at the cost of rupees 900 million, construction of University Road from Hassan Square to Nipa at the cost of rupees 770 million, construction of University Road from NED University to Safura Chowk at a cost of rupees 780 million, rehabilitation, reconstruction of Tariq Road from Shahid Millat Road to Sharai Qaidin District East at a cost of rupees 550 million, reconstruction, rehabilitation of Mausamiyat Road, Karachi at a cost of rupees 200 million, construction of Hub River Road, balance portion at a cost of rupees 500 million, reconstruction, rehabilitation of road from Surjani to Madinatul Hikmat, Karachi at a cost of rupees 750 million, construction of underpass at Regent Plaza, Sharai Faisal, Karachi at a cost of rupees 5